There you go. I was basically just saying we're having a crisis at home because I can't find my pajamas.
Leo can't find them.
I don't know.
You're just going to
We're
make
gonna have to postpone the stream. go and I'll go and search for the pajamas. I'm in shorts at the minute. It's awful. I don't know. My day is ruined.
Yeah. Check down the side of his bed.
You failed me, son. How's everyone doing? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if anyone even knows. I wear pajamas on stream because they're so flipping comfortable, and I'm all about that comfort. Oh, right. It's quite warm in here. This desk is a mess. Flipping heck. Okay. What we doing? What we doing, Dan? Okay. There's a brief on screen. Right. I don't have any headphones, have I? Wait, my white ones. No. You're good. You're good. I need these ones. These will do. Riggedy-dee. Okay. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. Happy Friday. I need some music before we start this. What am I going to listen to? Poppy, you usually pick good music. Not BTS. If that's what you were going to say.
I got a good song. Well, no, I actually do have quite a good one.
Is this a legit good song or is this a poppy good
right.
song?
Hold on, let me just find the name.
Okay. This better be good.
Okay, do Runaway by Ian Asher and Galantis. You'll like it.
I don't know if I trust you.
Actually, no, not that one. Do Desire. Do Desire.
By who?
By Ian Asher and Ollie Alexander.
I'm listening to this one first. It's cool.
Which one?
The first one you said.
Okay.
The Ian one. Right. Why do I feel like I've forgotten something? Have we got everything? Old socks. Happy Friday ski indeed. Right. So basically, what we're going to do today is, let me give you a bit of context for where this all came about. So there's a brief on screen. Root and Bean Coffee Roasters. So let's go place. So where did this come from? I think I generated this the other day. I've been seeing so much stuff online, particularly on threads, about everyone saying, please stop sharing these AI generated posters, ChatGPT posters and all this stuff. And obviously AI is a very hot, divisive topic at the minute. There's a lot of people worried about AI and all sorts. And I think one thing that AI does really well is it can present something that may appear aesthetically really cool, and to the untrained eye at least, it can look pretty good. So this design here, it's got the colors, it's got some degree of hierarchy, although it can completely cock it up. Or it just floods the page with loads of stuff, and they kind of have a tendency to look very similar as well. But one thing that I think it gets really wrong is it's just very generic. Like, they're not really designed to actually appeal to a particular target audience. There's not really a lot of thinking behind them. And whilst they might look visually nice, this one's a better example, but some of them just have no hierarchy at all. There's so many different design things that they get wrong or that they miss. So I thought, do you know what? Looking at this poster, I've not done a poster in a while. I've been more digital than print for quite a few years now. And I was thinking, I'm going to have a go at redesigning this. I'm going to look at the whole thing, from the wording, the hierarchy, the layout, the structure, and I'm going to have a go at redesigning this. But then I thought, well, there's a logo on here. There's what if you can call it a logo, and there's a badge down there. And then I was going to just quickly whip up a logo for the sake of doing the poster. And then I thought, actually, Dan, what if we do the logo first? And if it turns out well, maybe this becomes a bigger brand identity project and we will get onto a flyer on another stream. But we start with the logo rather than me just trying to whip up a logo and do a flyer in a couple hours. And I love a good logo. So I thought, why not just focus on that first? So in the Discord, a minute ago, I just asked if anyone wants to generate some AI logos, by all means, crack on. And if you're watching this on the stream now and you would like to generate some AI logos for Root and Bean, or Root and Bean coffee roasters, whatever, please go for it right now and send it to this email, densky.com. So yeah, I've just got them here. So honestly, let's just spend 5 or 10 minutes. If you want to have a go at this, send me all your AI logos, because what we're going to do is we're going to have a whole bunch of AI ones and then we're going to compare at the end. I've kind of got an idea for what I want to do, and that's the other one, and I'll show you that in a second. I had about 20 minutes playing around with an idea earlier, and I thought, ooh, this could be quite good. Might have some legs to it. We'll do it on stream and see what happens. So there's the brief. I will copy and paste that into the Discord as well if anyone does want to have a crack-a-rooney at this. Oh, it's pasted the image, not the text. That is incredibly unhelpful. Let's get rid of that. Delete. Oh, why is it pasting it as an image? That's strange. Yeah, I'm trying to copy the text and it's just pasting it as a flipping image. But I don't know why. It's all right, hang on. I'll ask ChatGPT to write it out. There we go. Exactly, yeah. Let's just plonk it in there. There you go. So that's the brief in the Discord. So email, throw your AI logos at the Discord, at the email, and we'll just see what it does. We'll see what it does, and then we'll dive into kind of version that I think might look a bit more interesting. And then, yeah, we'll see how it goes. We could look at potentially building this out into a maybe more of a visual identity project, definitely a flyer as well. Not done a flyer in a while. So it'd be quite cool to have a crack at something like that. All right, where's my music? Yeah, so I've started a Pinterest rather than just diving into a project with no inspiration, which I do have a habit of doing on these streams. I think it'd be good to get some stuff. Yeah, so I'm just trying to build ideas for anything to do with the coffee brand, really. So stuff like this is quite cool. So we're just gonna scroll down, have a gander. Ah, this is nice. See if anything jumps out. Oh, lovely. I love this typography here. That's really cool. Coffee world, beautiful. Yeah. Yeah, some of these are really nice. I like some of them have got like a nice texture as well, or like a nice rough texture. Ooh, Ooh, that's really cool. Yeah, nice badge there. So we're just grabbing anything and everything. Cozy brew. Nice colors. This one's a bit more type led, which I really like. Amazing illustrations. Love that. Yeah, these colors are super nice. Lots of like browns and earthy colors. Green seems quite popular. I've got a nice Waitrose ad there. Thank you very much. Ooh, this is a nice one. Got like a stippling effect on there. Oh my goodness. Stunning. That's cool as well. Huh. Yeah. Let's grab some of this. I want some more potential badge styles as well. Let me know if you're going to have a go at the AI logos real quick. We'll do a few more minutes and then we'll dive in. If anyone else wants to chuck an AI version of the logo in the Discord, you can use ChatGPT, Firefly, any of the main AI generators. Hey Dave, how's it going? What's the future for graphic design? Automated? It's already automated. What do you think? No, I think the execution is becoming more automated. Things like taste, creative direction, judgment, presentation skills, confidence in many different aspects. That's where designers are going to be a lot more valuable. I think a lot of designers, probably myself included, actually, I was thinking about this yesterday, actually, and I'd like to know what you think. I think a lot of us, we place a lot of value on what we do on the execution. So for me as an educator in particular, I think a lot of my value comes from being able to say, oh, to create this cool effect, do this, do this, do this. And that's really valuable. And then all of a sudden now that's been replaced with type this, there you go. So I kind of understand where people are coming from, but then it's also got me thinking, well, actually, no, the value that I provide isn't necessarily just on how to execute it. You know, as an educator, it's so much more than that. It comes down to how you convey information, how you can connect with human beings, even just doing like streams and things. So the value isn't just what I teach, it's how you teach it, I guess how you show up. Do you know what you bring to people's lives? So it's kind of so much more than just that. And the same for designers. It's not just the execution side of things. When you're working for a client, a lot of times the clients don't really care. They don't care whether I'm using Photoshop or Illustrator or if I'm AIing something or not. What they do care about is the end result and what I'm going to deliver for them on time, the experience working with me. There's a lot of things they do care about over, the specifics of how things get made, if that makes sense. And there's so many people at the minute saying like, oh, AI is really great or AI is really terrible. Very big, like loads of extremes. I'm honestly exhausted with it because there's ways that I've started integrating AI into my process that hasn't taken the creativity. I'm never giving up the creativity. But there's instances where it can save me a lot of time and it can shortcut certain tasks, repetitive stuff, but it doesn't take away the creativity from me. That for me, that's like a non-negotiable. It just enables me to like accelerate what I can do, what I can get done without compromising the quality. Again, the quality and the end result, that's another non-negotiable. So you still need experts with a vision. Exactly. Yeah, you absolutely do. And someone, I can't remember who worded it so well. It was on Threads or X or somewhere. I can't remember where I saw it, but they said something to the effect of designers aren't being replaced, but the definition of what a designer is being replaced. It's changing. you know. And I thought that was really, really well put, you know, because things are changing, but then things always change. To be fair, this is like a very radical change. It's pretty insane how all the AI stuff's exploded in the last few years, not just design, but across everything. I saw an email yesterday that they're making an AI movie, or they've made one and it's coming out soon. Forget what it was called, but it's like a full movie made with AI by a I can't even remember the director's name. Someone. Steven something, I can't remember. Yeah, exactly. The values in the ideas, the creative direction, the human mind. Exactly, yeah. The vision is always going to, exactly. Like for me, what I see, right, with a lot of I'm just going to call it DIY design, because whether you're doing it in Microsoft Word yourself, whether you're using like a platform where you just kind of pick a template and add your own content, whether you're using AI, to me, they're all very, very similar. You know, unless you've got experience in design and you understand hierarchy, typography, attention to detail, all the stuff that makes up a good designer, right? Unless you understand all of that, you know, what you can create is always going to be capped at like a mediocre level. I think AI is probably getting better, but for example, what your everyday person could generate with AI is going to be quite different to what I could personally generate, because I've got the experience to ask the AI to do certain things that I know are going to work from a design point of view. You know, and an everyday person isn't going to have that experience. They'll probably generate something and go, oh, I think that looks good. And they have no idea if it is actually good or if it's relevant for their target audience or all this stuff. And so, yeah, to me, the conversation isn't around AI, you know, can AI generate a good flyer or not? And people saying, oh, stop doing these AI flyers, they're awful. Like, I could generate a good AI flyer because I know what to ask it. I know what to prompt it to do. But so it really is an interesting conversation. And like I say, I'm so fatigued with the extremes at either end. It's just like noise to me now. It's like I want to actually have conversations about this. And I know a lot of you guys as well like having conversations about it and you're interested in it. The all AI is just slop. It's just I just find it a little bit irritating now because it shuts down any conversation. It's like you know, the Jolteon card I did, that had some AI integrated into the process. Yeah, it was probably like 5% of the process, but still, it's like a tiny bit of AI assistance. Does that automatically mean that whole project and all the work I did by hand is just slop? Of course it doesn't. So anyway, I'll get off my soapbox now. We'll get back to a logo. But yeah, so there's a lot. It's a very, very nuanced conversation. It's very grey, lots of grey. Anyone that tells you is a black and white conversation is well, they be smoking something, because it ain't. It's so interesting and complex and uncertain and exciting and scary all at the same time. Ooh, nice typography. Yeah. But those are the two non-negotiables for me. As long as I still stay in the driver's seat creating and doing the creative behind it, so I can finish a project and then go, I made that. That's my idea. That's the main thing for me. Right, I think we've got enough ideas. Let's just refresh this board. So we're going to start with the logo, and we'll see where this goes. Right, anyone else sent any AI stuff? Ah, that's a good one. Cheers, Afif. Nice. Okay, we'll grab this. Do you know what we should do? I can't even speak. We should do is have people do a design review, but they submit AI designs. I think a lot of designers might find that quite interesting, actually. And I think it will probably, because it's a good opportunity to showcase why design and design experience is so valuable. Because like lots of these, for example, you might look at these and go, oh, these look nice. And from it does do certain things well and it does look nice, but they're not practical at all. They're not scalable. You know, the detail is inconsistent in many places, and it's just very, I mean, it's like a coffee brand and there we have just a coffee, or we have the root and some bean. It's very like literal, you know. But we can take ideas from these, like this one here. This one's quite interesting. Root and bean. That's very interesting. Right, let's go through the brief and then we're going to get into some sketching because I want to see what I can do. Eventually, human-made movie become a luxury good. Yeah, maybe. I think as well, designers have there's an opportunity for designers to showcase their value more by explaining their thinking and all the other stuff, the stuff that AI can't replace. You know, the thinking behind it, showcasing and presenting a creative direction confidently to a client, and even interacting with the client. You know, AI can't do that. Right. So the brief. Raquel loves a good brief. Did I say beef or brief? Raquel loves a bit of beef. Oh, I don't know what I'm saying. Anyway, overview. Root and Bean is a specialty coffee roaster focused on quality coffee, genuine human connection, and a welcoming neighborhood atmosphere. Premium coffee without the presence. So quality coffee and human connection, welcoming. So very people oriented. Audiences: coffee lovers, creatives, community, people who value quality and authenticity. Nice. Okay. So this ain't going to be no cheap crap logo. We got to make this look delicious and high quality. Personality: warm, honest, approachable, crafted, community focused and refined. Also, if you have a design brief, by the way, like you can run a big brief through ChatGPT and just ask it to simplify it into a list. It did give me like a much, this is all from GPT based on that flyer. It did give me a much longer one before and it was like, that's too much information. Give me the cliff notes so I can just keep this here as I'm designing, because all the design decisions that I make, they should be linking back to this brief. This is where that value as a designer versus AI comes in, because when I come to present that idea to said client, I can then not just talk about the design decisions and say, oh, I like this because X, Y, Z. I can say, this is right for your business because, and then I'm linking it back to this or this. They were meant to be arrows. So we're linking it back to the brief rather than just having my personal opinions and then they bring in their personal opinions. So we kind of remove our opinions from it to a degree and keep things focused on the brief. And by doing that, you're going to get a lot less personal feedback, because when they do give you personal feedback, you can then just get them to expand on their feedback by asking more questions, but ask them to expand on it in relation to the brief. So we're trying to filter out too much personal opinion and make sure that everyone is focused on the brief. You love a good beef. It's funny. Okay, so this is what I was doing earlier on. This is just half an hour of me mucking around. I typed the letter R and I thought, oh, we could have a bean in there. So that's a coffee bean. Let's turn my screen recorder on just in case something magical happens here. There we go. So yeah, I thought, oh, we could have an R and then we could have a little bean. There we go. Let's just draw a lovely little line there. There's our bean. And then it's an R and it becomes a B. Now, I don't think that's quite right. It's an interesting idea. R and a B. Anyway, so we'll get rid of that. And then I started playing with this idea here. Now I'm obsessed with this font. I need to stop using it because it's too sexy. It's too sexy and I like it too much. And I gotta be careful I don't use it for every flipping project I work on. But I typed an R and I was like, ooh, there's scope here to have a bean in there. That could be quite nice. And then what did I do? Started trying to combine the R and the B together into a single mark, which could still work because they're both very similar in shape. You know, you've got the R and a B. There's a lot of similarities there. That's awful. Ignore that. And then I had the idea of, oh, maybe I could like link them together. This could be quite good. Root and bean. Like, can you show that connection between them? And then I was like, where is it? Where's it gone? Where's it gone? Ah, sorry, we're up here. I was like, what if we could connect them with a bean? A really long, stretched out coffee bean. So it's a bit scrappy. And that's as far as I got. I was like, okay, we've got an R and a B connected with a bean. And that's where I got to. So that was the thinking. And then tried a few different versions, like putting it in a circle, trying to get an and in there. And yeah, that's kind of where I got to. That font has been abused. I know, it really has. So as far as the logo goes, this was the idea that I really wanted to explore. It was the R and the B and the connection between them. Firstly, what do you think to that as a concept? Not necessarily the crazy bean. That would be nice. But yeah, just curious what your thoughts are. And yeah, it'd be nice to sort of sketch out some ideas as well for whether it could be an R and a B connected into just a letter mark, or whether we're going to go for a monogram with the two characters and have them connected somehow. You teach so much basic things. Is that a compliment or an insult? I don't really know. Arrested for font abuse. Absolutely. It's rather delicious. 5 counts of abusive font. That's fine. That's fine. Straight to jail. Do not pass go. Do not collect £200. I mean, that'd be something to have on your record, wouldn't it? 5 counts of abusive font usage. Yeah, I don't know, Andrew. I don't know. Right. So, maybe we should go into Photoshop, actually. Let's go into Photoshop, and we'll see what happens. Sometimes it's just fun to just create things. Hey, Carl. On your CV, font abuse, yeah. Yeah, no, I don't know. I think sometimes it's hard to understand exactly what people mean with text. Right. So let's type an R and a B. And we're going to see, I think it's going to be uppercase. I've kind of got like a little bit of a vision in my head for how I want this to look. Oh, you passed! Yay! Well done, Kyle. Oh my god. Did you get like a score or something, or is it just kind of pass fail? So you're certified in Adobe Illustrator now, yeah? Was that the official exam, remind me? You are now more qualified than me. Congrats. Right. Let's start at A. Nice. Good work. This could be quite good as well, actually. Let's get a bunch of RBs. Ooh, oh no, that's an Adobe one. We can't use that. We don't have licensing for that. Ooh, that's nice. Adore. What on earth is that font? Where the hell did that come from? Do I have a license for that? Don't know if I do. Maybe I do. Ooh. Oh, I do. Oh, I do. Excellent. That's nice. Let's make these bigger, actually. And obviously, like any other stream, if anyone's got any ideas you want to throw in, honestly, chuck them in the Discord, email them. It's all good. Right, where's my playlist? If you give some beans to the Discord, they can generate some more styles. Love a good bean. Oh, Afterglow. That's really nice as well. And it's interesting as well, just looking at the way the letters are constructed. So, you know, I could take this font at the top here and I could go, oh, I love the way that there's an intentional disconnect there. Yeah, we'll see what we can do today. See if we can get a decent looking logo done on stream. I feel pretty confident. We're going to get to Bevas in a minute, which is my new favorite font. That's really cool. I really like that, actually. Yeah. These two letters, I think, might complement whatever I do really well. And sometimes it is as simple as, if you're going to do something very letter-based, I do quite like starting by looking at lots of existing fonts. You know, you could dive straight into sketching, but I think it's, oh yeah, that as well. That could even be a coffee cup. Just sometimes it's really cool just to have ideas for fonts in your head, because a serif like these, very different from like a sans serif. It's a lot more like cleaner and traditionally a bit more modern. So you can have this as a reference when you start sketching. Because how you might do serif letter forms are quite different to sans serif, for example. That's interesting. Yeah, so this isn't really what I'm going to go for. But let's just say I had a serif R and I wanted to like extend it across the back. So we could take the idea behind that and work it into another style of typeface, for example. Ah, yeah. You've done so well, Carl. Proud of you, dude. Oh my goodness. He's done it again. Oh, thank you so much. Oh, I really appreciate that. You're an absolute legend, XM Tech. Just sent me $50. You absolute legend. Hey. Oh man. It still catches me off guard every single time. It's very kind of you. Get wings. No, I can't. Liam's put me on a special diet. Yeah. $50 worth of salad. No, genuinely. Thank you so much. Let's see what techniques we can steal from. Hey, you steal away. For $50, man, you can have the lot. You have it all. Right, there we go. Bevas. We're getting quite a few, actually. I'm probably not going to spend too long on these, because these are some really good ideas already. Be nice to leave a little bit of room for creativity. Miscrits. I don't know what that is, no. I saw miscrits and all I heard was biscuits. I'm guessing they're different things. Obviously, yeah. That's really cool. See, that gap in there looks a bit... The gap between the letters looks a bit weird, but it would fit an and, R and B quite nicely. This is going to be a flippin' cool one, actually. This is going to be good. I got a feeling this is going to become something bigger than just a logo. Ooh. I don't know. Yeah. Look at this one. You see this one here, the B? Let's get my... Yeah, so like when I look at this B here, I'm actually kind of seeing a coffee cup sideways. So you could do something like that. And then you could shorten the handle. If you wanted to go subtle coffee cup, but keep it tight bled as well. So I hate that R. I flipping hate the R. But the B, a little bit of potential there. Yeah, the R does feel a little bit oversized. Like massive head, little tiny legs, or little tiny arms or something. Which country sells the best coffee? That's a good question. I mean, I always have a nice coffee when we go to Spain. I'm not gonna lie. We've kind of got some like this already. That's nice, but we've got that already. Maybe we'll just do one more. We'll try and find one more. That's a bit more interesting. That's nice. Let's go and stick all these up here in the corner. Right. So we've got some references. I'm just going to have a play around now and start trying to sketch some ideas. So what we going? Flow 30. Let's readjust all of this. Colombian coffee is heaven. Oh, Costa Rica. Oh. Italian coffee. Can't say I've tried that. I have to put that on my list of things to do. Right, let's move this over. So let's just freely sketch. If in doubt, your mind goes blank, just sketch anyway. I got no idea where this is going to go either, so we'll see. And we could do something like that. So I'm sort of trying to embellish the R a little bit. That's probably a little bit too much. Yeah, that's way too over the top. We've got the R and the B as well, so we can do this in like a really simplified way. So we could try and do that. Something. I feel like this is going to be both letters. You probably could integrate them really cleverly, but I feel like an R. You could do a smiley face there. R and a B. Do a little. No. What about some sort of flowing connectedness? It's kind of could be quite nice. So kind of starting there, going down. It kind of flows. Oh, it's almost like a heart. A sideways heart there.
Or a bottom. Or a bottom.
Or a bottom. Yeah. Or a bottom. Don't ruin it. If you say that, you won't be able to unsee it. Yeah, it could. We could link it a bit too much. Things could get somewhat carried away. Oh. A bit too peachy, isn't it? Okay, let's try something less butt-like. We'll try it blocky, first of all. And we'll see if that still gives us a butt. So this is very curvy, this is very square. I wonder if there's some sort of middle ground. Move you up a bit higher. Creative time indeed. Ronaldo R9 vibes. I'm not entirely sure what that is. Is that based on the footballer? Sounds like a car. Audi R8, the Ronaldo R9. Connect that all the way in or not. And it's good to explore these as well. Obviously, I had my original idea earlier, so let's just try that for a second. We got our Serif R. Can't quite remember how it goes, but we'll just make it up. So there we go. I think it was something like this. And we had the B. Actually, let's single line it first. Yeah, something like that, wasn't it? And then we got serif. There's a connection at the bottom. We do a drop on the end. Yeah, so that's not even straight. There we go. Yeah, I do like that idea. Good day. Good day indeed. Right, one sketch there. Let's copy it over. Then we'll thicken this version up. So we're just going to go around and just give this a bit more thickness. Now that we've sort of sketched it out in a very linear fashion. But honestly, these sketches do not need to be pretty. I just need to do one thing. Tell me, as the designer, if this idea is worth sinking lots of time into before I waste my time barking up the wrong tree. Alright, there we go. Bring it up round, very nice. Have these interlinking. We'll start with a drop there and then maybe we'll see if we can get a coffee bean in there. I think we can. And it kind of fills this empty space. Well, not empty space, but this space up here as well. Which is nice. Right, let's get my eraser. So just brush tool and eraser tool. Just clean up a few of these scrappy edges. Space for the bean. Yeah, well, we could just do it very tight bled. I don't know if the bean will work or not. So you could do something like that. It's getting it in a way that looks really like classy and subtle, not tacky. Do you know what I mean? So if we can do it in a subtle way, I think it could look quite cool. And here, like ideally the best logo designs can work in a single color, like black, for example. It can be very useful for brands because you never know where that logo is going to be. So if they need a one color print, for example, whether it's cost or just the limitations of something, you know, like stickers or the hoodies or whatever can only be printed in one color, then you got to have that ability to send the logo in one color. So to create this link here at the minute, you can't really see a link. So we've got to make some cuts somewhere that show the link. You can do this but it can sometimes become a little bit fragmented with all the gaps. So I think I'm going to try and go for 2, possibly 3. I don't know. Got to choose carefully where I put them. So here I've got 1 on the outside, and then on this one I've got 1 on the inside. And ultimately the goal is to convey that there is a link happening there. Yes, obviously, yeah. Scaling, very important. This is all way too tiny at the minute. So in terms of thickness, we might chunk it up even more. At the minute, it's all the same weight as well. So we could do that. What's probably more likely, if we were to stick with the whole serif thing, is you would have varying weights. So certain parts of the letters would be thicker and thinner. I don't know. Where is Kaya? Maybe she's hiding. When you draw the letter design, do you follow certain rules or designing according to the desire and the unique appropriate shape? When you draw the letter. So if I understand what you're asking, I try to figure out the shapes that I want to create. And if it requires me doing like custom lettering, then I'll do it. But sometimes, and this is what might happen today, I'll look at this and go, yep, absolutely love this idea, but I'm going to base it on these 2 letters. So then I will bring these letters over here and I will draw on top of them. At the minute, I'm just trying to work on the connection between the R and the B letter. I think this is the direction I'm probably going to go. And I think this sort of stuff, I think it will fit the brief as well. Yeah. So I think a lot of these, I think as long as it, yeah, human connection. So again, connection is going to be quite important. Hence the link between the R and the B. Yeah, craftsmanship. Certain things like ethical sourcing, you don't have to try and get all of this into that single mark. But so when we're looking at this, some of this we might try and get into the logo. Some of this might go into the colors that we use. Some of this might go into the typography if you expand this into more of a brand visual identity project. So don't feel like you have to get all of these descriptive words into just the logo. You know, this is a full brief, and when you present the logo or the brand, whatever it is, you'd present it as a complete project. Usually I would never just send someone a logo. Like I would send them a logo considering colors, type, mock-ups, all sorts of stuff. So you're getting a brief that paints the full picture of what they want, and then I would design the full thing to paint that picture. Does that make sense? Right. Any of these standing out to anyone, or are they just terrible? Should we carry on? That's probably my favorite one, I think. Yeah, a lot of these are interesting. That's quite interesting. I think that might be a bit too geometric. I don't know if that's going to have the same sort of the right type of personality for this one. As clean as it would be. Oh, hello, Kerry. Ethical's more about using recycled paper. Yeah. There's lots of different ways that could be interpreted. By the way, if anyone's just joined and you would like to do an AI logo for Root and Bean, please do go ahead, because we're going to have a bunch of AI logos here and we'll compare what I do at the end to those. So if we can build up a few more AI logos, that would be amazing. It will just give us more to compare to at the end. Yeah, this is really cool. Let's grab, because I do love this serif. It's everything I've ever hoped for in a serif. So we're going to do that. We will rasterize it so I can then go and customize it. So there we go. 2 separate layers now. That's good. Yeah, so we could experiment with customizing this, what sort of shape it's going to take. You see, we're just building this on top of the existing font. If you do custom lettering from scratch and you don't understand typography at all, honestly, I wouldn't attempt it, because you can make so many typographic mistakes without realizing. Right, let's try and make this more of a bean shape. Yeah. And then this, yeah, this one here, having this is really nice, but I don't know if it's too much having them both like that. So this one might benefit from being a bit more of a regular R. Maybe there's something else we could do with it. We'll start basic. So we could do a regular R. And then I don't like that downward kind of slope. I think I would prefer something a bit more like this, where it comes up. Like that, possibly. Yeah, maybe that might be a bit too much. Yeah, I think AI logos, like, well, as I just mentioned, I think there's a lot of ideas you can take from them, but even just the scalability of them, like, take all of these logos here, try and put that in a website header, try and send that to a printer. There's just so many problems, you know. Like, personally, I think I could probably get it to do a good AI logo, but one, it's not very fun for me. It's not very creative. And I would probably have more experience to ask the right questions to get it to look good. But then it would just be so awful trying to get it to do exactly what I want. I was talking about this with a friend a couple of weeks ago, actually, and he was saying, like, sometimes you can end up just asking the prompt to do stuff, and it doesn't get it. Whereas if you ask a human to do that, they'd be like, "Oh yeah, I totally understand what you mean." Like an AI, especially with a client, it can't read the room, right? It can't gauge reactions. It can't get a sense of what people are thinking, or how they're feeling about something. Yeah, do you reckon we can get our... Oh, maybe that could go in there. And we could follow the contours. Oh, like that. Is that a coffee bean? What if we cut? Oh yeah, what if we cut into that like that? Maybe something like that. Do we want to connect this as well? I don't know. Might be a bit much. This bit feels a bit straight here as well. A little bit rigid. Hey, no, you're not too late. We're pretty early days, to be honest. We're just gonna maybe just give it a bit more of a curve. Yeah, that just feels like it just kind of flows a little bit better. The whole thing really is kind of flowing. Feels a bit rigid having that one straight. Where we've got this loop here, though, I don't know if this bean element is too much, because if I then start, making the cuts here to... Yeah, let's merge these together. Oh, I don't know about the bean. I don't know if it's too much. I don't know. What do you reckon on the bean front? Bean or no bean? I feel like it's fine until I make the cuts here to show the link. And then it's just a bit too... And obviously, like Raquel said a minute ago, scalability. And it doesn't just have to be an RB as well. We could... I wouldn't necessarily shape it like a coffee bean, but we could encase it in... It's more of an orange. Let's go for a... I'm not going to win Circle Drawer of the Year, am I? We could encase it in a shape. We could do a badge. We could do hexagon. Don't laugh at me. We could do a square. There's loads of things, and we could have blah, 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 blah. So it doesn't just have to be a floating RB. We could turn this into a little bit more of a stamp, if you like. I think that's what I would like to do. I just need to find some examples of other logos that have like an RB monogram like this with that sit in the center of a badge. I think I did find, yeah, there's this one here. It's just a B. That's quite nice. And actually we do have some text that's part of the brief as well. What was it? So not coffee shop. Coffee roasters. So if we were to move this over here, you could have root and bean. It'd be uppercase, wouldn't it? It'd bean and then coffee roasters up there. And then maybe on the side here, we could have established 2026. So we could turn that into some sort of badge. Oh God, my circles suck. That's what I think I want to do. But then I would love to roughen the edges up and make it feel less clean. Give it a slightly more human handcrafted feel. In fact, if I go back to the brief, is there anything in there that... Yeah, maybe what's was it Dave was saying about ethical sourcing? So it's kind of like subtle, but if the edges weren't perfectly clean and you make it almost feel like a little bit more handmade. Do you know what I mean? Like a little bit more human made. Don't know, some sort of, not entirely sure how to explain it, but just a bit more natural. Could even work in some texture in there or something, rather than it looking too clean and slick. Raquel wants an ice cream. I'd love an ice cream. I'm not allowed an ice cream though. Would a negative space logo work? Possibly. I mean, I've still got the... If I can get the ampersand in here, that's this thing. If I can get that in there somewhere, it would be the icing on the delicious cake. When I was playing around earlier, I kind of tried to stick it in there. Maybe there's a way that I could connect it somehow. So it goes... If I could do that in a way that looks good, that will be the absolute perfect thing. Cool. Shit, maybe that... Maybe that's not a million miles off. Obviously, it's going to need thickening a bit. What do you reckon? We could... I can hear Raquel thinking, scalability. And she's absolutely right. This is so annoying how this is actually coming together so well. And I think about the amount of time I spent on my friend Liam's logo recently. Flipping hours and days. And this is just like coming out of nowhere. Yes, the brief is in the Discord. If you haven't joined the Discord, Dansky.com. There's a link to join our community. We're all bonkers, but it's on Dansky.com or it's here. So there's the brief. If you want to grab a screenshot or pause it, there we go. That is the brief. It's always worth having that. I mean, you've got to have a brief at the beginning as well. And usually a lot of that is informed from a client questionnaire. So you've got to ask the right questions to build this brief, because then when you explain and pitch your logo, so when I'm pitching this to this fictional client, I'm relating all the design decisions and I'm handling any feedback and critique based on that brief. And that brief is based on the questionnaire they themselves wrote, right? So it gives you a way back to politely remind them that this is what you asked for. This, we're working to the spec that you effectively provided. Yeah, we could use a brush for the texture. There's quite a few things we could do. I don't do loads of texture logos, so I'm not entirely sure. But I have seen some flipping amazing reels on Instagram recently, with people doing texture and roughening of edges. So that will probably definitely be worth me revisiting. But right now we've got to nail the core look. So it's just it's funny how, I mean, what about that? Can we can we just remove part of a serif? This is what I mean about being careful with the typographic side of things. I'm not a typographer, right? So I don't actually know. You know, a typographer might look at this and go, what the bloody hell have you done? Put that piece of serif back right now, Ginger. So this is why I like to use existing fonts, because they're usually, a lot of fonts are done by professionals who understand the nuances of different lettering. So by using a existing font as a base, I'm less likely to cock it up, basically. Here, though, this bit here, I'm not entirely sure whether that looks right. I might have messed that up, but you know, like a typographer, for example, would look at this and go, oh God, what have you done? No, silly Dan. And they might say, this bit here needs to taper in tighter to be typographically correct. So I would then go in and actually that probably is correct, actually. So the middle bit here is a bit chunkier. And then it kind of tapers in a little bit more as you get further down. So if you do have a friend who's a typographer, or maybe we have one on this stream, that'd be really helpful. And when I do things that are naughty, you can yell at me. I don't mind it without the serif. Is it correct? No idea, but it does make a bit more space for that A to be, the and to be a little bit bigger. Is there a link for the Discord? Yeah. I'll throw the direct link, dansky.com, on the homepage. If you scroll down, there's a bit that's courses, resources, and community. I will just chuck in. So if anyone wants to join our Discord, it is totally free. And I've also, yeah, I've pinned it on the chat as well. So I teach Photoshop and Illustrator, beginner through to the most advanced stuff that I can possibly teach. I've been designing, living, and breathing the software in and out for 20 years. So if you want to learn the software, I'm your guy. If you don't, then, well, that's fine. That's fine as well. Right, there we go. That's me trying to remember to actually mention that I sell courses and teach this stuff. I am terrible at my own marketing. I think I've gotten worse, actually. We used to do segues. We used to do the segues, and now I just forget. Oh, dear me. Yeah, this is nice. Right, what do we reckon? I mean, I think it looks good. I mean, and this is kind of a rough, scrappy version in Photoshop. So obviously, when it comes to doing it in Illustrator, it's going to be clean AF. So you'd lower the vertical bar on the B. Why? Why would you do that? What do you think about this bit here where you got the two kind of endpoints? Or what about, you see the flow here of the, what about, hang on, I've got an idea. What about instead of lowering it, we kind of have it coming down so it is sort of a bit lower, but then it matches the contours here a bit more? What do we think to that? Yeah, but obviously we'll get it nice and smooth. This bit feels a bit random, but I don't know if I'm just overthinking things. Let's try removing it and... Oh, I'm going to try something. So what about, and this might look terrible, what about if I remove this? Now I've got to figure out how to move the entire logo to the left a bit. I don't know how I'm going to do this. So like that, but then Actually, I don't know if that's going to work. Yeah, I was going to try and use this bit as the B. So this part of the R here would need to double up as that. It would have to come up and come down a lot steeper. So it'd be like that. Now go thicker and then thinner as it comes back down. It's just trying to merge these two bits here. It feels like everything has a flow except that part. Let's bring it out even more. Yeah, let's clean this up here. I'm really liking that. I feel like that vertical stem just feels weird. If there's a way I can get the R in there. Maybe this part of the B needs to just come back a bit. It's a little bit too wide at the minute. So if I can just pull it back in. Maybe slightly shorter serifs as well. So this serif here can be a bit shorter. This serif's a little bit odd here, admittedly. I'm not sure whether to connect it or not. Yeah, and maybe if this isn't going to be a coffee bean, it can be smaller. And we can just shave off some of that size, which again is just going to help scalability that little bit more. And we could actually put the serif back. If we're doing this now. So it feels like now the characters kind of occupy the same sort of width. And then we got the ampersand as well. Let's see if we can sneak that back in. Oh, yeah. I don't know. Do we keep the serif or not? Let's do a comparison. It kind of feels like it occupies that space a bit more and it's not so tiny. Oh, and honestly, Andrew, if you want to have a go at generating an AI logo, like, please, everyone, if you want to have a go at generating AI logos. Is that AI, Afif, the one you just pasted in the Discord, the tree? Is this one AI? I want to try and get a collection of AI logos. Send them to hello@dansky.com if you want, if that's easier. So we could just have a whole bunch of AI-driven logos. And it'll be interesting to compare at the end. I'm really liking that. Should we see what Poppy thinks? What do you reckon, Madam Pops? Obviously, your opinion is paramount above everybody else's.
Why is it not a P and a D? Poppy and Dan.
No, it's not for that. It's for R&B.
Who's R&B?
Root and Bean.
No.
It's a coffee shop.
No.
What do you mean?
Poppy and Dan.
We can't just change the letters because you want it to be our names.
Yeah, it doesn't look like a bum anymore. I like it.
Valuable as ever. Oh, is that a logo from Alan Peters? But this one? Yeah, no, okay, right. If that's the case, yeah, we'll get rid of that. We just want AI stuff. AI logos only. Yeah, if you right, so if anyone wants to submit their AI logos, honestly, if you do an AI logo for Root and Bean, keep forgetting what it's called. Honestly, just send them there. We'll add them into the Illustrator file up here. I've got a few from Raquel. I think this one's from Afif. Send them on over, and we will chuck them in. Thank you, Andrea. You are an absolute legend. Root and Bean, Root and Bean. See, like I said earlier, this is one area where it can be very helpful. Like, I'm going to look at these and treat them as two separate logos. But the connection there between the R and the B, you could look at that and go, oh, that's really cool. I like that idea and then try and work it in somewhere else or try and refine it further. It's interesting though, isn't it? Looking at this, and this is one Andrea generated. What did you use to generate it, Andrea, and Raquel as well? You see, it's got the same sort of tropes: coffee shop, coffee roasters, a dash either side. So I wonder if any others. Yeah, even the one down here, Afif did. All the coffee shop bits at the bottom are just sans serif caps, sans serif caps. They're even tracked the same. The tracking, the spacing between the letters, is the same on all of them. So I don't know if everyone's using GPT or what everyone's using, but it seems to be sort of spitting out the very, very similar kind of style. GPT, yeah, okay. I'm using an XP Pen Artist Pro 16 TP. I did a review video on it a few years ago on the channel. It's amazing, honestly. Like if you want to get into logo design or illustration or photo manipulation and digital kind of artwork stuff, having a pen display is just amazing. A graphics tablet's really good. That's like the first step because you can control the pen pressure. But when you draw directly on the screen and be able to control your curves and stuff like that, it just honestly makes drawing and sketching and whatever just so much not just easier, but like fun as well. Like it just feels really nice rather than using a mouse. Makes you feel like an artist. Oh, okay. So so you're going to try it with the whole brief. Okay. I could imagine a realistic coffee bean brought back into that spot if the logo was large for signage. What, a coffee bean brought back into this bit here? Why choosing did you consider a logo serif but not sans serif for the logo? That's a really good question. So I think for this one in particular, obviously there's going to be like a bit of personal taste in there as well. And I do love a good sans serif, particularly a monoline style logo. I think for this one, the human connection bit and the craftsmanship. When you talk about craftsmanship, you kind of it can sort of lean into, you know, tradition, experience, maybe a little bit of heritage, kind of, you know, how things have been done, that experience. And so I wanted an element of the logo to sort of feel a bit more handmade, a bit more handcrafted. We're not even, it might actually look even more so when we kind of texturize it and things. The styling as well, warm and approachable. Again, it got crafted here. So craftsmanship, crafted, we're seeing that repetition of the word craft. So the whole, it's not even just a serif, it's, I want the whole thing to feel crafted and handmade. Approachable and warm. Again, we're using lots of curves, you know, that's why at the beginning, when you have the straight line serif and it's very and you've got the B, it's fine, but curves can sometimes make things look more playful, more approachable, just a bit more friendly. Sharp edges and straight lines can be very good for, you know, things that are a bit more perhaps serious. If you want to convey more trust, reliability, stability, curves can be very useful for making things feel a little bit lighter, a bit more playful, a bit more organic. Yes, in this case. And the other reason as well was having whether the coffee bean or a drop. This kind of, when you use a serif, you naturally get the variation in line weight. So if I were to do an illustration now, terrible illustration of something perhaps a little bit more floral, a bit more natural. Let's just say I do this. And it starts off thick and then it gets a bit thinner. You know, you've got that there. Obviously, that's terrible. It's like a, it's almost like it's Hang on. There we go. It's a slug, except the antennas. No, a snail. That's the one. Except the antenna are coming out of his mouth. Anyway, what I was trying to illustrate is that the serif and the variation in width and the drop on the end here, it looks more natural. It looks like, and when you're talking about root and bean, root, you're thinking natural. You're thinking back to where coffee beans come from. So we're sort of trying to get rid of this stupid snail. You're trying to think about that more natural side of it. And I feel like the serif and the variation in line weight and the drops lean into that more than just having a consistent line weight like you get in a sans serif. Does that make sense? It's a what? It's a kakawaji. What on earth is that? I don't know what that is, Raka. You're gonna have to come up with an explanation fast, because I'm confused. And we can't have that. Right, so if we were to take this idea and run with it, let's just rough it out even more now. So we can do this in Photoshop. I always forget. I've done a flipping tutorial on this as well. I think to add text to a shape like this, you just have to grab the type tool, is it? Yeah, there we go. Root and bean. So maybe for this bit, this is where like a really good sans serif would be a nice pairing. So I can never really think of one off the top of my head. So we'll just go for this one. It's pretty good. We'll track it a bit wider, not that much. It's a variable font as well, which is nice. That's good actually. It puts it on its own layer. Oh, that's really cool actually. So it uses the path, puts it on its own layer. Tasty. And then what have we got? Ooh. Actually, no, forget that. I was going to try another feature, but this is fine. Yeah, no, I'm not going to muck around with that. Right. I'm used to using this in Illustrator more. So what's the tagline? Was it... I want to say coffee roasters. I think it's coffee roasters. How do I get that the other way up? Not that it's not dynamic text. How do I flip it round? Do you know? I don't actually know in Photoshop. Oh, okay. If you do that, then you can... I gotcha. Okay, I gotcha. I gotcha. Or maybe we do just dynamic text it all then. Oh, no. No, right. Okay. The problem with dynamic text is it fills the whole width, so I can't control the size anymore. So I need to flip this bottom one the other way up. I can't think how you do it though. I need assistance. How do I flip that up the other way around? Because you can do it in Illustrator. Yeah, there's a couple of control points. So yeah, I can move it around. No, that's not really what I want. It's not this, is it? Huh. Transform, rotate. Yeah, it's going to pop it, though, up there. Like, I need to have it reading upright, but... Yes, I would. Maybe I should just go into Illustrator. I mean, this is good enough to conceptualize it. So we can go root and bean, and then we can go EST 26. So I think that's probably the... something like this. This is enough to give me an idea of what on earth I'm actually looking at. So if I were going to kind of do this in some sort of badge, which I would love to do, I think it would make I don't know what I was going to say then. A sexy badge, I think I was going to say, which I just thought my brain was like, that just sounds weird, Dan. Don't say sexy badge. This is so sensitive. You need to just... No, just move the values a little bit. Yeah, so pretend the words are the correct way up. I feel like that's a pretty nice concept. And we just move this around a bit. And then something else we can... You could just have this, but sometimes having a circle or something can give it some structure. So you might want like a shape, some sort of container type device. And then this, we probably move it to the left a little bit. Yeah, so you could fine tune the details, but essentially that's kind of what I'm thinking. Yes, you could say there's a lot going on. This could just be one version though. Like obviously, like if there's just a badge version, the website, you know, this ain't going to work in a website. So there would need to be another version.
I like that.
You like that? I'm just thinking like if I can nail the logo mark and then get the badge pretty much like where I want it, the rest is easy. The rest will fall into place. You know, this being the mark and having the root and bean text or whatever it is, that's the easy bit. You know, getting the logo marks the hardest bit, setting up a badge like that. I think it's gonna work. You know, so as long as I don't, any bit I'm not sure about is this. Yeah, we'll play around with that in Illustrator more. The badge styling, we'll do loads of different badge styles. Stroke, no stroke. Yeah, sticker, it works well as a sticker. Why in Photoshop? So the main reason, for anyone who's just joined, we kind of started off with fonts. We then moved into just sketching how the letters could connect in a few different ways. And then this point here was where I was like, right, instead of just sketching more, we're going to type the letters and then sketch over them or ink over them and then customize them by drawing. So because this particular design is going to be largely a monogram, that combination of the R and the B letters, I'm using an existing typeface and I'm just customizing it in Photoshop because it just enables me to freely draw and sketch and muck around. And then I've got a concept pretty quickly that I'm like, yep, this is good. I can take this into Illustrator now pretty confidently, and I think this should look pretty good, hopefully. So let's do that. We can just grab this idea now. Go in here. Anyone else who's just joined, if you want to use the brief and make your own AI logo, the whole point of this is to compare the end result with what AI's done. So we're going to just try and get loads of AI logos. So if you want to have a go at making an AI logo, send it to this email address. I'd love some more people to do it if you've got time. No problems if not. But I'd love to get a few more of those over so we can just effectively look at loads of AI versions and then look at the Vernal version that I end up with at the end. And then we can talk about it. And I think a big part of that is as well, I just want to sort of convey how valuable design still very much is in this AI era. Even though AI can seemingly do things quickly, there's so much more that goes into design that AI just cannot do. It cannot even come close to. Right, let's try and organize this. So we've got initial ideas over there, brief, and we're going to start with this. So first thing I'm going to do is drop the opacity. And we've got to try and digitally now recreate this. So let's get the R back. Font is going to be Bevas. And character style. What should we do? We'll start with the standard R because then we can customize it. There we go. And then we're going to get the B. That's going to be the delicious B with the link. Kind of move that into place like this, something like that, I think. We'll customize all this in a minute. We've got the and as well. We'll leave that though, because that we can come back to that in a minute. All right. Oh, okay. Sorry, I got more in Discord. Thank you, lovely people. Let me copy image link. Paste them in. Nope. Ah, nice one, Ryu. Got more. Amazing. Oh, nice. Thank you, David. I just got yours on email as well. Got another one. Legend. Yeah, honestly, keep them coming. If you've got AI logos you want to send to me, the root and bean coffee roasters, you crack on. Right. Now we've got to try and customize these. So let's convert these to outlines. We'll get rid of this part. This bit as well. And we need to try and curve this now. So what we want to do is we want to delete part. Well, we want to keep this as a reference so I can see certain aspects, but we also want to delete the parts that we're going to redraw. So outline mode is the place to do this because you can actually see the geometry properly. So delete you, and then we're going to do our curve over here. So we'll try and start in the same sort of position. And we'll do one there. And we'll come down there. Swap the fill to a stroke. Thickness is right here, and then we're going to use the width tool, which is Shift and W, to thicken it up this end. And then we can adjust these curves. Right, so this bit down here. In fact, I think this serif I'm going to have to move. Now the width tool is really good, but it's not perfect. Yeah, I think actually I'm just going to get rid of that foot. Trying to line that up is going to cause too many problems. In fact, I might use the pencil tool and we'll go for medium smoothness. Yeah, we're going to put, we could try and put the and somewhere else, but we'll have a look. In fact, actually, let's reset the width. I think I've done this a bit wrong, actually. Let's reset the width. And we'll get the curve right first. So we'll try and match this, the example I've done already, because I kind of got it pretty good in Photoshop, right? Smooth tool. I need it to come down a bit steeper. And smooth tool again. Yeah, so we've got to try and get this looking good first. That's a little bit closer. And then this bit needs to kind of end up completely flat. And we'll copy this. So that's going to be the the foot of the serif effectively. Right. So width wise, what's that? 1 point? That matches this pretty much. So that's a good starting width. And we want it to stay that width all the way around there and then get thicker here. And the thickness should match the other parts of the letter as well. And then it's going to taper back in around here. The width tool's tricky sometimes to get really nice curves. But you can kind of do this and move it along. So let's go a little bit wider. Sometimes it is just getting them in the right place. That's not a bad start. That's not a bad start. What's this? Right, so this bit here, let's grab the knife tool. We'll slice that off. We're pretty good there. Right, now we've got to bring this back in. So that's kind of where I want it to land. So this can be quite short, I think. Right, this bit. Okay. So I think for this bit, I'm going to have to... It gets quite thick around here. Oh, I've got an idea, actually. Let's copy it in case I mess it up. So something we can do is try the puppet warp tool. If we add some pins everywhere we don't want to move. And then I've got one here on the end. This might work, it might screw it up. Yeah, it's mucking the width up a bit. It can work sometimes. Yeah. Let's undo that. That's fine. So maybe for this bit, we bring it in a little bit. Actually, do you know what I think would be better? I think we should get rid of this. Take it all the way back to here. Yeah, so this bit we've got to try and match the width here. So let's thicken up the whole stroke to match that first. So what's that, about 1.3? And we'll need it to start getting thicker, but not too thick. So we can thicken it up here. But then this part, we're going to put that back at 1.3. So it maintains 1.3 all the way around here and then starts to get thicker a bit later. It depends if we want a circle as well. I don't know if we want a circle necessarily or something that follows the contours here. And this bit as well. Yeah, this is where it's going to get. It's going to get very tricky because we've got to effectively cut this here. Oh, nice. Thank you. No, I don't. I tried it out before, but I mean, I've always been Adobe through and through. I use so much of their tools design-wise, but also teaching, the video animation stuff, Premiere, 3D Dimension. I use that whole suite to do everything. And oh my goodness. All right, I've just requested access. Hopefully that gives me access to all of them. Yeah, so I need this to kind of flow. But it's also got to match this, so the width here as well. This is probably one of the most important parts, and the part where I could really screw it up if I'm not careful. So this needs to come down as well. I don't know about that or the round drop. So what I would do in this instance, I've got a pretty good curve here. We can copy it and chuck it up there. I would actually expand it. The width tool doesn't always taper things very nice for type. So this bit here, for example, I want to bring it in. You see the difference there? I want to bring it in a little bit more. Yeah, what did I do on the design? I had it a bit higher up, didn't I? Maybe a bit smaller as well. And it's not a perfect circle as well, and that is intentional. Let's pull it over a bit. There we go. So it kind of fits this a bit better. Now what we're going to do is we're going to cut part of this off and fill it with white. And now let's try path offset. So we'll offset the path. And I'll show you why in a sec. So I'll get rid of all this. Yes, get rid of this. Get rid of this. Move this back in. You see, I've got that line there that kind of is perfectly parallel to this. And then I could trim it short or whatever. And at the minute, we can just use the pencil to kind of throw in colors like this, like it's fine. And then around here, we'll do something like this. So it's still a bit scrappy, but it doesn't matter. As long as we're getting the right bits in the right place. Oh, amazing. Thank you. I will, if anyone sends some more, I will go and add them in. Right, this bit here. Now, because... Yeah, so what I can probably do... If I go and add a point here, probably taper this in. Just want to line everything up now. This bit here. So that's not perfect. We will have to go and sort that out later on, but generally the width is pretty good. This bit's going to be one of the harder ones. Yeah, this one's a bit trickier. Let's try it with the pen tool. See if we can eyeball it. Something like this. And then the width from that would go down here. And then I'd have to pull this back round. Yeah, so kind of like that. Oops. And then this bit here. Would connect to the existing lettering. Something like that. It's not perfect, but it's getting there. And then, of course, this bit up here as well. I think the easiest way to do this for now is just to kind of eyeball it. So then we're just cutting away those segments. Just got to make sure that the gap is consistent. So there's our link going through. You use Copilot. Okay, nice. That's the Microsoft one, isn't it? Right. So for this bit as well, I'm going to connect this seamlessly as I can. I'm going to actually merge it. And the reason why is sometimes I found when drawing these drops is that if you actually freehand it, you can actually sometimes get a better result. I don't know why. Sometimes I think when you have something like this and you introduce elements that are just perfectly geometric, it can look a bit too clean. So I don't know. I'm probably going to play around with that some more until I get something that maybe feels right. Maybe this bit here just comes out a little bit too much, or maybe this needs to tape it in a bit more. Yeah, maybe something like that. I don't know. I'm gonna have to play around with it. This bit feels weird though. So I'm not entirely sure what to do here. Actually, I do have an idea. Scratch that. I think this is kind of like the sketch. We'll just bring it intentionally down. And we'll keep it cut vertically rather than an angle, because then it's going to match the serifs as well. And we'll make that one a bit longer so it sits with the other ones. So like even the width here and here is consistent, and these widths are pretty consistent with the existing serifs. So as we start introducing new elements, we're respecting the type that's already there, if that makes sense. Right, this bit here. We'll duplicate that. I'm going to expand this now as well. Because when you expand things, it makes it a bit easier sometimes to just kind of like here, for example, I can just trim this off. And yeah, so you get like a seamless flow there. Now, there's one problem, potentially a problem. This bit kind of flows up here and then it comes out. That might not be an issue. This bit doesn't feel like it's particularly smooth. So what we could do, I'm going to copy this in case I manage to screw it up. So we're going to grab the black elements. No. Yeah, there we go. So we're going to take the white bits. Where's the white? There's one white shape. This is where it gets a bit complicated. I'm going to knock that out. Put this back. Then I'm actually going to merge these together. And the reason is there's a little bit of a kink in this. And I can just run the smooth tool over it. And you can see it fixes it. I've obviously eyeballed the parallel gap between here and here, which I'm not 100% happy about, but that's something I can fine tune later on. This bit here. So this needs to do a better job width-wise. So the width throughout the whole thing is consistent. Where it's intended to be consistent. This bit here, I feel like that needs a little bit. Yeah, smooth tool is really good. It's just quickly tweaking things. And what about the cuts? Yeah, I've put them in the right place. Thank goodness for that. So, yeah, it's not perfect. We've eyeballed quite a few things at the minute, but not the end of the world. Right, this bit here. To edit existing geometry, what we want to do really is remove anchor points. So I'm going to try sticking one here. And I've got one I'm going to add down there. I'm going to try and... This might be a terrible mistake, but I'm going to try and delete these. And connect these up. So now I've got 2 anchor points instead of 4. So now it makes adjusting the width of the curve a heck of a lot easier. And we probably want to do the same for the outside as well. So we're going to cut there. So we're going to add one here. Add one down here. I'm just going to... There we go. Then now I can fine tune the width. Much easier to control 2 handles instead of loads. All right, what have I done? Oh, I've got an open path. Yeah, so this happens when you don't have a closed path. So there's a duplicate there. We want to get rid of that, that anchor point lurking. And then I can select these and close them. Let's move this up with the arrow keys. We will close them, and that should close the shape. If you have it as an open shape, it creates all sorts of problems. And then now we can go and fine tune this. So we could make it like a bit chunkier at the top. I will link the Discord. If you want to join our Discord, here is a link. Why not add points to the line temporary and then copy the line segment using the direct selection tool? Why not add points to the line and then copy the line segment? Was that for up here? Yeah, I mean, there's loads of ways you can do it, like path offset and things. I think once I've got to get this curve right, what I'll probably do is get this one right and then path offset it, and then I know I'll get like a parallel shape. Yeah, so like let me... Yeah, I did it a minute ago, but because the shape I'm selecting at the minute wasn't finished, it kind of made it a bit harder. So here, you can see the inconsistencies, but then when I get it out to about there, This is how I've always done it anyway. So it gives me that line. And then I can shuffle this back in. Drop it down. And you can see here, the red line's kind of like the perfect line. The black one is the eyeballed one. So you can see it's not perfect. So now we cut there and delete that gap and paste my one in, the new one, of course. We know that will run completely parallel. And then I should be able to do it again for the one below here. So that I can get rid of that one. Connect all this up, extend that one out. What's this? Trim that off. Obviously got loads of bits of points. And then I'd probably just think for this bit, how would I do that? Got like an overlap there, so I'd probably trim these down as much I can with the scissors tool. Then where I've got the overlap, I'd average them, join, and then maybe smooth them out. I think, yeah, gotta be careful smoothing it because it can screw up all the other geometry, but I think doing it like that, I think I'll get away with it. We'll connect this up. You've got to be careful not to muck up what I've already done. Yeah, so at least doing that, this gap here runs parallel now. Yeah, so like when you've got lots of bits like this, sometimes you just got to just drag things into position. Just remember, when you're zooming in at this percentage as well, you are like thousands of percent zoomed in. So don't beat yourself up over it, especially if you're new. Like I'm just looking at this as someone who's very detail obsessed. I've been doing this for like 20 years professionally. Like,
Obsessed.
hey,
He's obsessed.
he's obsessed. like I live in the details. There's so many amazing logos that don't get this granular and they still look fantastic and no one would even know. So don't feel like you have to like obsess over this, especially if you're new to design. It's good to be mindful of it, but don't let it overshadow enjoying it and having fun and being creative. Right, this bit's weird here. There's a weirdness going on here. where I've customized this, it's not flowing. So I don't know if I need to add something like this. Yeah, there we go. Just so there's like this continuity now between this bottom part as it comes up there. Even like this is getting really granular, but we're matching the tapering as well. So you see the width here is pretty consistent to here, right? As we come down this side, you see down here it's still relatively thick. Mine tapers in a lot harder at the same point. So what I probably have to do is try and thicken mine up a little bit at that lower point. So it just stays a little bit thicker for a little bit longer. I think actually I was going to shorten this serifs, wasn't I? So go 1. Yeah, because we got the and to try and get in as well. This is going to be very thin once I get it in. And I think I cut the, yeah, I cut the serif off, didn't I? I don't know if I'm being really naughty doing this or not. So I'm gonna save a copy before I commit to this. This might be a bit naughty, but we're gonna do it anyway. It's serif surgery time, and then this is going to occupy a lot of that space. And we want to still pay attention to like typographical rules as well. So, you know, the serifs here, they would sit on the baseline, right? So just like with other lettering and typography, you would have this part of the ampersand dip a little bit below. If this was a letter T, it would sit flush. If it's an O, it dips a little bit below, just so that size-wise it looks typographically correct. So we would have that happen here as well. I don't want to be too big though. So just a little dip below that baseline. And then I think, yeah, this bit would sit flush. Yeah. So this part deliberately droops a little bit lower than this bit. Again, we're getting into the nuances of type here. Now, again, this might also be a no-no, and I might also get told off for doing this, but sometimes you can thicken up a font just by bumping the stroke weight. That can obviously, as you can see, completely cock it up. But if I'm just thickening it up a tiny bit, that versus that, I don't think I'm going to cause any problems there. And if I am, well, that's just tough. That's just unfortunate. So it's a pretty good match for the sketch, I think. Let's just try and line it up. Yeah, so as a first pass, that's pretty good, I think. Right. I've got all these pieces now. Let's just fling all these over here, little bits. Keep them there anyway, because they're editable. I can change the width and things just in case. Yeah, I'm not 100% sure on this curve now, actually. Now I'm looking at it zoomed out. Or is it... Oh, maybe it's this bit. Feels weird. Yeah, it feels not... Feels too dominant on this side. So... Let's delete that. And we'll try and adjust it.
Right. Can you brush your teeth, please, love? Thank you. You're so cute.
Hmm. Yeah, just a little bit smoother. Feels a little bit... Yes, that's better. It felt a little bit leaning to the right. That's better. Obviously, just got to be very careful. Mucking up one path can affect, like you see here, it can affect another part. So I'm just going to very cheekily just pull that in. Yeah, you see the difference? Here's before, very, very heavily sloped on this side. This one here, that curve is like a lot more central now. I think the width is a tiny bit off here. Right, what was this font? Yeah, let's get into this now. So I think I used just sans. Gonna go center. 2026. We'll add the full stop as well. And then the negative space on the right, bottom B, is more than the top left R. Don't you think that makes a symbol weird? Let's have a look. Oh, I see what you mean. This bit, this area here is greater than this. So to fix that, this would need to move over. Yeah, possibly. What did I do with the sketch? I wonder if that could like sit in there and hang. Don't know. Now that you mention it, actually, yeah, I feel like this bottom part actually would benefit from flowing really nicely. It kind of flattens out and stays flat for a bit, whereas actually it'd be nice to have that continuity. Bollocks. God. Crap. How are we going to do this? Right, hang on. It's a good suggestion. Thank you. Yeah, you're right. Okay. We're going to have to... Oh, God. We're going to have to get surgical now. So we're going to slice that off, grab this bit. Move some of this over. Oh my God. But now the R's a bit smaller, isn't it? So I've got to move some of it back. How am I going to do this?
Night subscribers. Night, Daddy.
Night, sausage.
Woo!
My little sausage man. I call everyone sausage in this house. Everyone's a sausage here. Oh, Andrea says night night. So cute, aren't they?
Night.
And the haircut.
Kids are amazing. Amazingly annoying as well, but generally amazing.
Again.
Thank you.
Have I made that? Have I actually fixed that, or? I mean, maybe the flat bit at the bottom actually is okay for the B. Oh man, got it. It mucks up everything, doesn't it? Do you know what? Unless to get rid of that weirdness, we actually have a serif in there.
Hold on, the hairbrush is shaky. You push it all down.
I think I prefer it more like that. Yeah, actually, I hate this. It's weird. I think at least adding the intentional gap kind of fits with the gaps up here as well. All right, let's dump you over there. Right. This is serif. Oh, do you mean the outside? The text around here? I think at the minute it might look like a lot of things because we haven't actually painted the full picture yet. So I think in terms of making it look like a coffee brand, I think the colors are going to do a lot of the heavy lifting there. If this was all black and it was white text, yeah, it probably would look like a clothing brand. Which obviously isn't ideal, but we haven't even got to colors and other details yet. So I think the colors, as you can see in a lot of these examples, they will carry a lot of that. Colors and context. Once it's kind of mocked up and showcased in the sort of real world place, I think that will paint a fuller picture, shall we say, hopefully. All right. Type on a path tool. Still isn't perfect, but so what have we got? We've got root and bean. We're upside down. That's not a great start. Flip it to the top. Just sans. And we're going to track it wide. Whoa, not that big. It's too big. Something like that. Move it back in place. And where do I want this? I want it on the inside. So we're going to double click the tool. Preview. And we're going to align to, there we go. And then we'll get another copy here. And what's this? I'm going to check actually. Is it Coffee Roasters? Can't remember. Coffee Roasters. There we go. Coffee Roasters. And we can flip it down. Back on the bottom. You see, it's a little bit fiddly to get it right. Flip. Yeah, there we go. And this one is probably a bit big now.
You like Mum?
You don't want to come here. I said here. Come on, here.
And we can actually scale this down as well. That's probably the easiest way to do it. So we're getting there. We are slowly getting there. Now let's center these to the circle. They don't feel central at the minute because the top bit's occupying too much space. I wonder if we should... The text is a different size, top and bottom. I wonder if we should change this to the real Coffee Roasters. This is going to give us a little bit more contrast between the sizes. So the business name is a bit bigger. And the tagline is a bit smaller. What size is this actually? 5 point. Let's just copy that in there for now. So then it kind of feels like this established 2026 text is at least central. And we could get rid of it actually. We might just do that in the end. Just lock everything else. Select this. Okay, actually, I think it possibly needs to come down. It needs to feel like it's central. It needs to visually look central. And I think the bigger text at the top's kind of throwing it off a little bit. I'm doing the logo also, but by using default Arial, it's starting to look like a clothing store. R&B than a coffee shop. The upper curve of the B is not very consistent. You need to delete the top anchor points. Upper curve of the B. Upper curve. Which upper curve? Are we talking about this bit here? Oh, what? Do you mean the width of this bit? Yes, well spotted. I think, oh, this bit, I was going to fix this as well, wasn't I? And then yeah. Ropey geometry. Yes, well spotted. Yeah, it feels like it gets thinner and thicker. What's the best way to fix that? I think this whole thing, I should probably just delete it and rebuild it from scratch. I think, yeah. Yeah, I got an idea. Let's do this. That's a little bit better. And I can at least go in and fine tune that. What are you doing there? Little kink. Naughty kink. Get back in. I'll smooth that out later. Yeah. That's a little bit better, I think. Oh, Gorav spotted it. Wait, where's Gorav? I didn't even see Gorav. Is he in the chat? Where's Gorav? Yeah, that's why it's good to just reduce the anchor points. It gets so mental trying to edit them. Sometimes it is easier just to axe them and then redraw it with a pen tool. Oh, okay. Bugger, where's my my text is gone. It wasn't meant to be this way. There we go. Phew. Cool. Right, well, there's loads of stuff I want to do with this. Is this all black? Have we got any white bits? No, there's a white bit here. So let's just shape all of that away. We'll clean up the geometry. There we go. So we've kind of united it all together now. What are you doing? Again, it's not perfect there. There we go. I love the smooth tool. It might not be technically precise, but it does stuff in a pinch very nicely, which is good for sometimes just keeping things moving. Hey, Gorav. Yeah, possibly. Oh, you're working on Pixel Clash. Oh, nice. I want to see where that's going. It's a secret. Is it for anything or just like a fun sort of passion project? Right. So, what am I going to do with this? Unite it together, make it into a compound path. I saw a technique the other day that was amazing that I'll probably have to look it up. And I can't remember who it was by. It was on Instagram. I've saved it. So obviously you can roughen the edges. This can be quite good if you want that sort of more imperfect printed style. But there was something else they did. I think it was using a brush. So you got the default brushes in Illustrator. Is it ink? Maybe one of these. And then they dropped it right down. And it gave an even rougher edge as well. Which is really cool if you want to go for the whole stamp thing. When's England playing? Anyone know? We're not usually into football, but we love a bit of World Cup. Suddenly, inner patriotism comes out. See you next week. Okay. I don't even know who we've got in our group. Yeah, so you see the difference there before and then after. It just adds like a little bit more. And if we yeah, oh there, the roughen effect is so handy. And you can get very granular with it. There's a few different ways you can do those sort of stamp effects. Yeah, so obviously you can push it as hard as you like, really. No. What do you reckon? Clean or rough, rugged is a finish? I can't decide. Kaya! Kaya, she has arrived. Oh, that was nice. Ghana and Panama in Group L. Thank you, Raquel. I'm actually pleasantly surprised. Try again. I'm pleasantly surprised how this turned out. This is the rough idea. So this is always fun. This was like 20-30 minutes earlier on, just mucking around. So this was outside the coffee shop earlier. So it's interesting. You can see where the rough idea starts and where it sort of lands. Sorry, I listened to Pendulum. Just in the... I'm in the... Fancy a whiskey now. Poppy, I've suddenly got the urge to go out.
No.
Listening to Pendulum. Anyway. Supplies, yeah. Oh no. Unsuccessful shopping. Yeah, I think for this one, what I'm going to probably do, I think you're probably right. But I'm going to go and look up some more. I'm going to add some stuff to the Pinterest board. Find more examples. These are all very clean. I love this one. I absolutely flipping love that. They're all very clean examples. So I need to find some more examples of this. I'm gonna find that example of the thing I was on about. It's a really cool Illustrator technique. Let me just have a look on my Instagram. Hang on. Because it's just such a good technique for getting a rough edge, and it was something I've not tried before. Saved. Let me find it. There we go. Yeah, I'm going to stick this in the Discord. This kind of goes a step further as well because it adds like texture to the thing, which again will be very useful potentially for this type of project. So this guy here, what's his name? Jeff. Yeah, stick it in the Discord as well. Oh shit, it's arrived, Kaya. Oh my god. What why is it in the box? Has it come out of the box yet? Oh my god, I'm excited for you. Flippin' heck. Let's go. I was looking at Max the other day and I was like, I got mine in 23 and I just couldn't justify it to myself. I usually get one every like 5 or 6 years because they just last me so long, and it's only been a few. It's installing now. Oh my god, yes. Remind me, were you Mac before or Windows? Is it your first Mac? I can't remember. Will you make mock-up of it? I mean, if you guys enjoyed this and you want me to carry it on, we can do this as a bit of a project and we can carry this on. So this was originally going to be, I generated this AI flyer and I was originally just going to redesign the flyer, and then I saw the logo and I was like, oh, I could redo the logo, but if it's just quickly throwing together a logo, that's going to like hurt the overall design. So rather than just, throw together a logo and throw together a flyer, I thought I'd start with the actual logo and then maybe build this out as a bit more of a brand identity. I think with this, the way this has turned out, actually, I think this will look really good in the portfolio. And I think it could lead to the flyer as well. So I actually would really like to continue this. Because it'd be interesting to see how that little AI flyer and that idea at a coffee shop I just showed you turned into a logo that became a brand identity, that became a flyer, that became something else. So yeah, 15-inch, that's good size. Oh, that was it. Yeah, 2018. Was it an Intel one? Car flipping out. 2018 to 2026. Yeah, 2020 they introduced the M1s. There we go. I mean, you apply it to everything, it does fluff the text a little bit, but I think we'll probably apply it to select bits anyway. We'll have a play. Ooh, I'll just show this actually. I made a plugin. I made a quick video on this. I used Claude Code to make this. It's my new Mosaic grid. Check this out. This is a feature that Adobe Firefly has that I really love, and I was like, I want to bring this to Illustrator. So I've coded this. No, I've coded. I didn't code bloody anything, but I worked on this, and you can then click, and it should arrange them into columns, and then you can trim it down. It's pretty flipping handy. So if you import loads of images, you can just boop, and it's a block. Amazing for like presenting loads of stuff. So actually, I could probably use it in this. All the examples you've submitted today. Click. There we go. Nicely organized. So yeah, I'm gonna get that video up. It might be, what's today, Friday? It's probably tomorrow it'll go up, and there'll be a link to download that and enjoy the plugin. Yeah, it's a cool feature. Firefly has it already, and I just flipping love it. And there's so many times in Photoshop and Illustrator where I've just wanted to dump in 20 images and make a background or arrange them. I think Adobe XD actually had a feature like that. That was the closest, but not the ones that I use. So I just got Claude to make it for me. But the fact that I actually got it working and then got it with my own icon that I set up and in a panel, I actually can't really believe it. Yeah. And it was Graphics Guy from the Discord as well. He's like fully into all this kind of coding, crazy plugin stuff at the minute. So he gave me a bunch of tips yesterday that really helped me just get it going and figuring it out. Right, let's leave the fuzzy effect for now. Come back to that. There's so many different badge styles we could do as well. This is where it's good to have inspiration. I think I probably need to do this a bit more as well. So what I should really do actually is look up like badge designs. So let's just type logo badge. Doesn't need to be a coffee shop. You can get so many ideas. Yeah, look, some of these are cool. This one's pretty good. You got the dividers there. So we don't even have to have this information. You could separate them into two halves or mirror that on the other side. There's loads of stuff we could do. See if we can find... Ah! That's what I want, like a printed, stamped example. So let's add that to the board. This one here is a slightly different shape. This is a bit more coffee beanie. Yeah, I don't do this enough, really. I do not look up enough inspiration before projects. It would just make things just easier to have a few more ideas. This has got a nice texture, so I would love to do something like that. So that's going on the board. I always feel like coffee brands as well are a really good practice project because it's a very good chance to test your creativity. Coffee brands have been done so many times. They've been done to death. But it's very easy to do like a typical coffee brand. So I feel like it's a good chance to push yourself and do something that's a bit different. A bit more standout. Rather than just let's do a coffee cup or a coffee bean and call it a day. Try and push it a bit more. Do something creative. This one's interesting as well, like the way it's got those sort of pieces cut out of it. Yeah, even that one looks nice. Doesn't even have any kind of container. Are you into photograph by any chance? I wouldn't say I'm into photography. I used to do some when I was a lot younger. I don't really enjoy photography. I do photo manipulation. So I do like digital artwork, but mixed with photo editing skills rather than just being a a pure sort of just proper artist. I'm kind of a bit of a hybrid in that sense. So like this is something I did recently. Car. That was fun. That was flipping fun, that one. So yeah. Not this exact thing, but if you want to learn Photoshop with me, I've got my masterclass that goes into all this stuff in detail. This is nice. It's got the text under as well. Yeah, badges are cool, aren't they? They are really cool. It depends on the brand you're designing for as well. Like sometimes you'll have your main logo that we've not really even looked at yet. And then you'll have your primary and secondary logo, but then you'll have like a badge or a tertiary version, which would be like some sort of emblem, symbol, or some sort of mark. It completely depends on who you're designing, what you're designing for, and who you're designing for. So from a type point of view, I haven't even thought about the main logo. If I were to do a vertical stack, my gut instinct is something like this. So like a vertical stack. This is a real problem listening to Pendulum for the last half an hour. I want to go out and have a drink now. Oh dear.
You'll be on your own.
Hey?
You'll be on your own.
It'll be on my just me on the dance floor. Oh, takes me back to my 20s. Sometimes they'd be like, oh god, I remember one time in this proper rough nightclub in Weston, and it was just like just was like early 20s. I think my friend had met a girl and he had left. My other friend had gone home. It was just me on my own. I met a bunch of random people, ended up in this weird nightclub, and I just had my long floppy hair at the time. I had this bright green t-shirt. Yeah, not a shirt, and a bright green t-shirt with a big yellow smiley face. I know, you couldn't stand out more, and it was just literally me on my own on the dance floor dancing to Britney Spears. It was so good. I was literally having the fucking time of my life.
Dan can't handle his drink.
I was no. The problem is I can't handle a good time. I cannot handle a good time. If we go out and the vibe's right and the energy's good and we're having fun, I just want to fucking party. Let's go. I just want to have a drink, listen to music, have a dance, and just.
Then he passes out.
It doesn't always end favorably. There's so many videos of me like I don't really go out much anymore, but there's so many videos of me absolutely wasted. Maybe one day we'll get them out. Kerry would enjoy those, I'm sure. Oh dear. Yeah, that'd be funny. Let's look at all the embarrassing videos of Dan. There are many. Oh wait, have I spelled coffee wrong? No, here we go. Are you a lightweight? These ways I'm a complete lightweight, yeah. Actually, no. No. I don't think that's fair because the last time we went out, I hadn't been out in about 3 or 4 years, and we went out into Bristol. Now, it's very easy to say Dan's a lightweight, but we started the night. I was on whiskey and cokes, right? Then we were sat at the table, and we all had like some like pink liqueur crap or whatever it was, a big tray of them. Me and you then went back to the bar.
We literally drank the same amount.
We went back to the bar and we got double blood orange gin and lemonade. So we've already mixed whiskey, like some pink creamy liqueur crap, and gin. I don't drink gin. And there were definitely more doubles because I can never be bothered to queue at the bar again when I want a drink. So I think, right, well, I'm going to have a double. I'll get my double whiskeys and a double whiskey. I'm dual wielding and I haven't got a queue again. The problem is when you're having a good time and you're putting them away and you've got one in each hand, it just seem to disappear really quickly. So when you mix it, and then it gets to the point in the night, right, where I'm absolutely off my tits and I'm at the bar and I see all the bright colours. Designers, maybe you can relate. It's like a bright green bottle, and I'm like, well, that's a really cool design, and it's bright green. I want to try some of that. Oh, that's Maduri. Yeah, all right, let's have one of those. And then maybe someone else comes along, and it's like, oh, tequila. Okay, let's do it. Sambuca. Yeah, why not? Jaeger bombs. Absolutely. So, you know.
And then I turn up and I say, right, let's go. And you go, I ain't fucking leaving.
I had a great time. Funny. Oh dear. I don't know. Maybe one day we'll all get a chance to have a drink together, have a jolly good time. That'll be funny. Shit, I just remembered I got to pick my brother up from the airport in like 4 hours. 5 hours. I must remember that. I joked to my mum earlier on. She's like, you will remember to pick him up, and I was like, nah, it's probably a 30% chance I'll forget. And she's like, don't, I'm gonna forget now, aren't I? It's gonna be at the airport. I'm like, shit. Sorry, bro. Sorry, bro, I'm in Bristol. Oh, lordy. What are we doing? Oh dear.
Maybe you should just stay on the stream.
Proof in the Discord. Hey?
Maybe you should just stay on the stream until then, and everyone will remind you and be like, Dan, go get your brother.
Yeah, every 5 minutes. Yeah, younger. He's 4 years younger. How old am I? 39. 40 this year. Yeah, no, he's been living in Albania for a couple months. It's a bit different. Change of scenery. Oh dear. Yeah, what we'll do is we'll just send not an Airbnb. We'll send an Airbnb to pick him up. We'll send an Uber to pick him up, and we'll just say I'll get the Uber to say I'm terribly sorry, but your brother's indisposed at the moment. He's gone to bed. Good times. I'm great fun on a night out. I'm just gonna say it. I'm great fun.
At the start, you are.
At the start, I'm great. As the further the night progresses, it's a dice roll. I'll be honest. All right. What's the business called? What's his place? Root and something or other. Root. Oh god.
No, he's not watching the live. He's on a plane now.
Nice. He'd be on an airplane, I imagine. Root and what the bloody hell is it called? Root and blend. What's it called? What's this logo for? Oh, yeah, he's for dinner. Forgotten the name. Bean, obviously. Yes, Root and Bean. Yeah, there's lots of ways of how to present this. It's all very well doing this. What I would need to really define is where this logo is going to appear. It's going to help inform some of these decisions. as you can see, there are so many ways to do it. It's handy that the two words are the same length. Yeah, so landscape, vertical, badge. Oh, I'm going to leave it there for that one. What time did I start? Has that been 4 hours? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, where has the time gone? Yeah, maybe we'll chuck some videos in the Discord at some point and you can all just laugh at my younger years. Right. This all came together weirdly quickly. It's cool seeing the progression as well. With its upside down text, and then it didn't, yeah, the apple did not fall too far from the tree, as they say. Oh, right. Amazing. I'm going to go in search of some dinner. You're waiting. What are you? Oh, for yeah. God, goodness me. Yeah, I think you'll enjoy them, Andrea. You will really enjoy them because they're just, well, highly embarrassing for me. Yeah, my friends have got videos. They're all over the place. Anyway, thank you so much for joining this amazing, lovely stream. That's it pretty much. Yeah. We will carry this on because I thoroughly enjoyed that. What's it called? Oh, is it 3 hours? Root and Bean 1. Always fun speeding through it.
Is it finished?
I think so, yeah. Well, no, nothing's ever really finished as a designer. It just you get as close to finished as you possibly can. It's still going. People can hear you if that's what you're saying.
Oh, it's like.
Just in case you want to like hurl abuse at me, we are still live. Okay. Oh, amazing. Yes. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, that's lush. Thank you to everyone for sending me their AI designs as well. I mean, actually, let's just do a comparison before I do jump off. We haven't even finished our concept fully yet, but there's all the different AI designs versus something a little bit more custom. So I think it's good for just kind of spitting something out really quick, and someone could use that. I think a lot of these, not all of them, but some of them might be better than what someone with no design experience at all could do themselves. So if someone had no budget in a local business, or they're like independent or whatever, and they really didn't want to spend any money at all, they could do something like that and their business would function. But I think AI, just compared to someone actually designing something with intent and with purpose and leading the creative direction and all this kind of stuff. Like, at least for logos at the moment, it doesn't even come close. Yeah, yeah. I think Copilot Dave takes the cake there with the brown on blue. But you could see as well, it's interesting. That was Copilot. You've got coffee house, tracked wide text, double dash at the side. 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 Big dash. Double dash at the, so you can see like a lot of common themes with AI. But that's not to say you couldn't use this as inspiration. You absolutely could. Like the lettering here, like this could serve as pretty good inspiration. This one as well, with the leaf or the bean, whatever. But if you are going to build an entire business and spend loads of money on printed stuff and a website and loads of stuff, the logo is like the main thing. Well, not just the logo, the branding is like the thing that you want to get right. If you're going to get anything right, it's got to be that, because if it doesn't resonate with your target audience at all and you completely miss the mark on how you design all of that and position yourself, like, it can just have such a massive impact on the business side of things. So you've got to at least nail your logo and your branding, in my opinion. But then I'm a designer, so I'm biased anyway. Oh, hey, Anna. You're very welcome. You're very welcome. Do I win anything, Dan? Yes, I think you win the prize, Dave, for worst AI logo. Congratulations to Dave on behalf of Copilot. Oh, that's funny. No, it's good to see as well. And honestly, if anyone's got any more they want to chuck, we can build this out as well, just to see if it can get something that is a bit closer to, you know, a logo that we could look at and go, actually, this is pretty good. So that was the goal, really, was to try and get it to produce something that is on brief and that is pretty good. And I don't think it's there yet. But we've got a flyer to do at some point as well. So whatever ends up happening with this thing that will carry on, I'm sure it will lead to a flyer and a bit more of a brand identity kit that we can build out. That'll be fun. I'll take my trophy. Yes, absolutely. You enjoy that trophy. Right. Have an amazing evening, everyone. And I'll see you soon. That was a very squeaky bye. Bye.